So hi, welcome to the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with...
Hey, I'm Levi.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Brian, and we're Camp Trash.
And we're going to ask them some questions today about their upcoming album, The Long Way, The Slow Way. So congrats on that, by the way. How are you guys feeling about the response to the announcement so far?
It's been better than I anticipated. People have been very, very kind about it. I didn't realize how many people were actually excited for this release besides me. So
hell yeah. The album was very good. Listened to it earlier today.
Immaculate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
The cover art is from like our hometown. Levi and I grew up in Sarasota, and then Brian was going to high school in Bradenton, which is just like the city just north of that. And so that the cover art is a photo our drummer Alex took of the side of a laundromat near my high school called Lime Laundry. And it's like one of these like open air laundromats, because in Florida you can do that all year round. And it is in the parking lot of a bowling alley, which is a bowling alley we went to after everyone's high school graduation for a few years, I feel like.
yeah.
Like yours and Noah's and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just felt like that area and that laundromat and everything was very Florida, and sort of captured in an image kind of like the colors and the vibe of Florida for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we just love that little lime on the sign.
Yeah.
It was a great
Mm-hmm.
fit.
There's something very Florida centric about the record. And I think it kind of happened coincidentally, but we realized after finishing the thing that a lot of it is about Florida and about growing up in Florida. And a lot about the feeling of, the long, hot days. But I have no idea what the the title means. I didn't come up with it.
I know that like the name definitely came after we wrote and recorded the songs. So I think it even happened like in the studio. We just wanted to I feel like everything we did, especially when it came to music, it just always took really long for us to do anything or like to commit to like the things that we actually wanted to do with our lives, like playing music and being a part of these communities. And I feel like we finally committed to it. So I just felt like it was the songs kind of have that kind of theme too of pursuit, just trying to, chase this thing that we've always wanted to do. And we're finally doing it, even though it took us forever to do it. So I feel like that kind of theme is throughout the record.
There's one part, there's the cassette release that we did for the EP, the previous release that we have, has a quote on it from Keegan's wife's grandma.
Her mom.
Her mom? Yep. Okay, her mom. That it just says better than never.
Yep.
And I think at least I'm younger than both of them, at least for Keegan and Brian. There's seems to be a stronger sense that like in their 30s, it's rather late to get started on a slightly professional music career.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been met with nothing but support, especially from bands who are older, who are like, hell yeah, you don't have to be 22 to start doing music. You can start whenever you want. And at least for these two, it's been a very long road of playing music consistently for a decade and a half until finally doing something more professional with it.
Well, especially on like the downtiming stuff, like those were songs we had written when we were 20 and didn't record until we were 30. And then for these songs, like a lot of them, there was like nuggets of the songs that were started in our early 20s that we like finally finished for this record. So there's a lot of new songs on there too, but for the most part, it just feels like it's the culmination of like a lot of years of us just kind of like slowly making it happen. So I feel like the record really encapsulates that. So.
Yeah, I think it's funny that a lot of people who reviewed our EP listed us as a band who came out of nowhere or just like emerged in the scene without much fanfare ahead of time. But it feels like we've been around in music for a long time.
Yeah.
It was always surprising to me that people thought it came out of nowhere.
Well, we were in bands that it was not possible for us to be in bands that were less cared about. It was just local projects. It was just things we made. We recorded occasionally when we could in people's living rooms and stuff. But really, like the bands that Brian and I had like throughout high school and into our 20s existed primarily just as live projects, like just a chance to play music with people, and never kind of really evolved past that. Because we haven't all four lived in the same state since I guess when I was 18 or something. So I've been coming and going.
Still don't.
Yeah. Still working remotely for the most part.
Yeah. And I think the part of that goes into the record title, even though I didn't come up with it, is that for a lot of Keegan and Brian's music relationship, it's been, songs compiled by voice memos, because they started playing music together, but for most of the career so far, it's been, in different states. So, the voice memo app that used to come on the iPhone, I think still does, was essentially the most used recording equipment we've ever had as a band. Keegan and Brian would send those voice memos back and forth and just kind of build on each other. And that, I think that also goes into like the long way, the slow way of creating, the path we want as a band.
Yeah. The long way, the slow way is a title I've had for like several years. And it wasn't about trying to encapsulate the record as much as it is like that phrase is a jumping off point for me. Like every song in the album sort of comes from that title or is connected to that title. Even if it's not literally there's like that idea, just the phrase along with the slow way, which doesn't mean anything like super literal. All the songs kind of connect to that, just that phrase, which has been stuck in my head for several years.
Okay. That makes sense.
So cool.
So can you guys tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
I feel like everything we write, it always usually starts with just like a burst of an idea from me. Like I'll kind of grab an acoustic guitar or, I typically write really fast. Like I'll write songs, or at least like the root of the idea, like pretty quickly. And then I send ideas over to Keegan, who then like kind of lets it bake a little bit, throw some ideas into it. We actually, none of us are like professional recorders by any means. Like we are not producers. We're not familiar with recording ourselves in home studios, but because Keegan's in Portland and I'm in Florida, a lot of writing this record was us learning how to use Reaper and sending demos back and forth. So yeah, I usually just like write acoustic. I'll send a voice memo over to Keegan. He'll send me back something like just a guitar recording through Reaper, or even just using like a drum machine or something. And we would just kind of layer it in and find ways to structure the songs that way, because we don't have the luxury of playing together. So we really had to like write the record independent of each other. So.
Okay.
Oh, so I guess the pandemic didn't really have much of an effect on the writing process, as you guys already had to do it digitally.
Yeah, it was just sort of like Brian and I have like always like co-written everything. Like he does like he creates all the melodies and does like he said, almost every song has started with like a sketch that Brian came up with on an acoustic guitar. But we really have always co-written everything. And before the iPhones, or before I had an iPhone, or before the voice recording memo thing came standard on phones, we bought a little microphone you plug into the bottom of your iPod, and you record it on that. And then you plug your iPod into the computer, you drag and drop that file, and then we would email files like that back and forth.
Wow.
And so this is actually, even though we're still doing a kind of a painstaking back and forth writing process, it's a lot faster than it used to be.
Oh yeah.
I can imagine.
The difference here is that we were trying to build out like songs and song structures. And with the album, the EP were songs that we've had for a long time, and they're like pretty straightforward songs. Like I like those songs, and I like the energy of those songs, but they're pretty simple song structures because they're mostly about just like getting the idea out and getting the energy out. And we wanted to write songs that were more dynamic or had more going on than just the first kind of pass at it. And so we spent a lot of time kind of like using drum loops and Reaper, just kind of trying to reshape the songs and do what we could to imagine them as full band things and not just like acoustic songs that we then added instruments to.
Yeah, I think because we always start for us, we were always just a live band. Like we always just would join friends putting on shows, and we came from a great community of bands in Florida with, you know, bands like Worst Party Ever and Shady Nasty and Farseek, like all these bands that were really talented and always put on shows, and we just wanted to join those shows. So I feel like in our writing process, at least for me, I always thought like what would be really fun to just like play in a room with a bunch of kids. And like and so Downtiming was definitely those songs where it was just like, these are very straightforward, very simple, but fun songs to play. And I think for this record, we were really like, how do we evolve that and actually become like better writers a little bit? I think the songs are still pretty straightforward, but we did try to like, we tried to be a little bit more intentional about like, okay, is this actually a good song structure? Is this like, how do we make this better or stronger? So yeah, I think that we tried to be a little bit more than just like, here's my best idea in 5 seconds. You know, you're like, let's actually think through this a little bit more.
Yeah, everything in Downtiming was either written by Brian in one go or was knocked out by Brian and I in like an afternoon. It was very like whatever parts are on the album on the EP for the most part was a song that we wrote. We finished in a day anyway.
Yeah, Keegan and Brian used to do these projects where they would make an album in a day. They would just spend like all goddamn day writing as many songs as they could, and that would be a record.
Yeah, you had 24 hours to write like 20 minutes of music or 20 songs.
Oh my God.
And so we would just get a couple acoustic guitars and just kind of drive around places in Florida and just knock out a song and go somewhere else and pick up beer and knock out another song. And it was just, I think, generating things very fast has always been our method. But we also like really love pop music and like really and Brian and I have both recently just have been like very, very into like Fountains of Wayne, and just really the more time you spend with those songs like that, those are like, that band is like a Beatles type band where they're like creating melodies on a level that other people aren't, and the songs sound effortless, and it's because they're like incredibly labored over. And like I'm lately have become fascinated with the idea that like pop music is the hardest thing to write well, and trying to make something that's like catchy and fun and easy to listen to that has some like intentionality behind it or some effort put into the craft of it.
Definitely.
Wow. So just constantly evolving.
But we're also limited a little bit. Like all of us are pretty basic guitar players. Like we're right in your solid middling guitar guys.
You looked right at me when you said that. I felt it. It hit my heart.
Well, it definitely comes through on the album that like you guys didn't just like write the whole damn thing in an afternoon.
Yeah,
which is good. The songs are great.
Sure.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So what song off this album took the longest to write, and which one is each of your own personal favorite?
The one that took the longest to write is absolutely Lake Erie Boys, because that one took upwards of 6 years.
Yeah, because that was probably even pre-Downtiming song.
I was in grad school probably when you sent me it was a song that Brian sent me. It has to be 7 years ago or something.
God damn.
And but he just kept sending me like a slightly different version of the same song. Like he'd write a second verse or write a second chorus, and it was the same song. It just, every year we go, we got to get back to this song. It doesn't sound like anything now, but I really love that song.
Yeah, like
and then
it could definitely be something, but it wasn't there.
And even leading up to us recording vocals for it, like we changed lyrics in the second verse. So like we had
like the morning of.
Yeah, like the song evolved even up until we recorded the song. So
yeah, so I had been like trying to take a crack at it like every year I go back to it and try and do something with it, because it was one of my favorite choruses Brian had ever written. And eventually at one point he was like, I think the song is dead. Like, I don't know like what there is for it right now. And I don't think I have any other way to put it together. So I just spent like a fever dream 2 weeks like that in 2020, 2020 when we were writing it, and was just like, let's just break the whole song apart and rearrange it. And because I wanted it on the album, and I wanted it to feel like, I think the hardest thing for me is because Brian and I do like write really closely together on everything, but there are a lot of times that Brian sends me something that I'm really afraid to fuck up.
Okay.
Because like, I don't want to feel like I got sent a perfect idea, and what I structured it into didn't do the song justice.
Our drummer is walking back from the gym right now. Looks like he may come join us.
That's cool.
Cool.
If he fits.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He fits.
So for Lake Erie Boys, definitely took the longest. And for me, that's my favorite song on the album, because it was like rewarding to see a song kind of eventually unfold in a way that I thought like did the original idea justice.
Yeah.
And it's like one of my favorite things to play live.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. One of my favorites is the first single off the record, Let It Ride, because we Keegan and Brian spent a long time trying to make that song something, and the months leading up to recording the record, I flew out to Portland to run some of the songs to Keegan and try and like craft them into
we were trying to get some kind of live energy, like get in a room together, and we borrowed a practice space from my friend Mo Troper, who's a musician out in Portland. And we were like, okay, if we get in a room together and play loud, we've got to be able to figure something out. Yeah, and me and Keegan are both we both have ADHD. We're prescribed Adderall, so we just got into a practice space. We took some Adderall and drank a lot of coffee and beer. And we sat down with this song that had been really frustrating. And we were both just like, this song just needs a fucking rock.
Yeah.
And so we just slammed against it for a long time until we had something.
We just made it so dumber and dumber. Yeah. Like all of our ideas, like play it louder, play it more straightforward. It just has to be like, that was actually probably the one song in the album that idea existed for a long time, but that chorus came the quickest. Yeah. I think that we had the idea, and then in like 20 minutes, we're like, this is like what's going to the song to be structured around.
And I will always think of the moment where me and Keegan are playing it. Like we had like a drum set set up and a guitar and like two guitars set up, and we're just playing the song. Like, this is actually fun. This song is now fun. It was going to be like a light song before, and then it like just slams so good. And it feels like we captured that in the recording, and I love it.
Fuck yeah.
That's perfect.
I'd say my favorite song on the record is Feel Something. I think the record, all in all, it feels like we had a lot of intentionality with like the sequencing of it, like as if we wrote the record in a way that we knew it was going to be like, this is the first song, second, third, fourth. We put a lot of effort and thought into thinking about that, but we didn't start off with that in mind. So like, Feel Something was something that I wrote. It was the last song I wrote before the record, and I wrote it probably like a month before we went into the studio. And it just was like, what I like about it is that it I think it really caps off the record really well. Like this is probably gonna be our last like really like personally emotive record, I feel like. And we just wanted to write something like this, but whether people like it or not, we don't know, but it meant something for us. And so that song is something that I feel like I enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed writing it, and it has like for us, Levi and I talked about this before, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the Front Bottoms record, Town of the Hawk. That like last song on that record, I think it's like Everything Must Go.
Backflip, I think.
Oh, Backflip. Yeah. It just, that last song on that record just has such a great emotional like pull. And it just like brings you back into the record, but it also like lets you exit the record in such a great way.
Yeah. The end of that record plays like the epilogue to a story that had like a really emotional ending, because like the end of Town of the Hawk has Lone Star on it, which is one of the most like heavy emotional songs they've ever written. And then it brings you out with this really light, like nothing really fucking matters, like that was hard, let's just keep going kind of emotion. And that's really like Feel Something felt so perfect to replicate that. Yeah.
So I feel like we did a good job like writing a song that felt like it captured that. And then it really came together in the recording process where it just felt like such a great, like the last like three songs, the two songs before it kind of get a little bit like emotionally heavy. And I feel like we exited in a really like fun, but still like emotional way. And it just felt like such a great cap to the record. So that's my favorite, I think.
Hell yeah. And I really do appreciate like when bands pay a lot of attention to like sequencing and like how to like exit a record, because I think it's very important.
The sequencing was the most laborious process of the album. Actually, we heavily delayed finishing mixing the record because I think we spent 2 months really banging our heads on we had recorded it in a sequence that we spent a lot of time working on. And as soon as we finished, got like the rough tracks back, I went, this isn't right at all. Like nothing. We knew that Feel Something was the last song. It was always the last song. It was like written. And that's also one of the ones, Feel Something and Weird Carolina are the 2 songs that Brian sent me that I didn't change like anything to. I wrote my guitar parts and I just tried to stay out of the way. I think I wrote 1 lyric for Feel Something, but for the most part, both those songs were just like, they're perfect songs. Those are some of my favorite songs. And so I just tried to stay out of the way of them. So I was like, that's clearly the last song, but I spent hours and hours with just a pen and paper trying to rewrite the order in a way that felt like all the songs were kind of leading into each other. And like that because I knew they fit together, but the way we recorded them, they felt disjointed. And so I just we kept struggling to find something that flowed. And we just, we had 2 songs that kind of bled into each other. And I texted the producer, our friend Kyle Hoffer in Orlando. And I said, hey, we just need to reverse the order of these. They just have to go in the other direction. He's like, but we recorded them. And I was like, it's too late. I know in my heart, we did it wrong. We've got to fix it. Yeah. And so I'm actually happy with how the record is sequenced. And it's something I think a lot about when I listen to music. It's something that I'm really interested in how albums are put together. And I really like the kind of rise and fall of it right now.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. So where was your headspace at while you guys were writing this album?
Oh man. So 2020 pandemic year. It's not a pandemic record by any means. I don't want to give that impression at all. But I do think we were trapped in our houses for the most part and just like excited to write new songs, because Downtiming was a record that we wrote, that we kind of leaned on songs in the past. And I was like really off of the songwriting train. Like I just was not really inspired to do anything and write anything. But after Downtiming came out, it was like, it gave a real like boost to me to just pick up a guitar and start writing again. So for me, God, headspace, I don't know. I just felt like I was in a place where I had a lot of like emotive songs that I wanted to like, that I was working on and writing. And I wanted to kind of get something out that felt like the song's not like these songs aren't like personal. There's not like a personal story attached to any of them. Like they really are more narrative, but I wanted to create something that had like an emotional connection that other people could relate to and kind of like project their own like feelings and thoughts onto.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I never asked Brian what the songs are about, because it's like, I think it's dumb to ask what a song is about. Like you're not going to get a satisfying answer. Yeah. And there's not a good answer, but I think that we spend a lot of time each writing half of a story without really kind of consulting the other one, just kind of trying to pick up where the other one was going with these narratives. And I feel like a lot of the songs feel like there's kind of 2 characters in conversation. They are kind of like, a lot of them have like little stories that we were following as we were writing it.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up like it's stupid to ask people like kind of like what the songs mean, because like every single time we've tried to ask that, like we've been politely told to fuck off pretty much.
Yeah.
So. We just stopped.
Yeah, we're done. So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they play it in the car with friends, dark with headphones on? Should they blast it in a car? What do you guys personally recommend?
How does that end of the year record start? Sit down in a comfortable chair with back support, feet evenly spaced apart. Place 2 speakers equidistant from your head, forming a triangle. Play the music loudly. Don't have a job. Sleep on your parents' floor. Owe your band money.
Exactly like that.
I think that this is like probably a car record. We wrote this shit to be a car record.
Yeah.
There's like so many fucking cars in the songs, and it's like a tick we have. We were just like, we were writing car stories. We were writing a lot of driving stories.
Yeah, I'm a downstroke writer, and I feel like that just like pedal to the metal, you know, hand on the fucking wheel, slapping it. That's what it's all about.
Some of my best times growing up was like Brian and I would like just put the windows down. The windows that worked in the Honda Civic, like 3 of them worked, and would just play Arches of Loaf so loud and just like do laps around people's neighborhoods and generally be irritating. And that is like the best feeling on earth. And whenever actually I heard a record that was really like kicking my shit, like when I was 16 or 17 and heard The Mountain Goats for the first time, or when I was 20 and Two Worlds by Tiger's Jaw came out, I would pick Brian up. I would physically go get Brian in the car because that's like the way I felt like listening to music was right. And our dad was like Levi and I. Our dad, plays Christian music and was in like a Christian rock band. And a story that I've always loved is that every time they were making cassettes then, like kind of just before the CD thing, and every time they did a mix, they would put the mix on tape and then they would go play it in the truck because they were like, if it doesn't sound good in the truck, then it doesn't sound good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that everything being listened to in a car is the correct way to listen to music.
Well, and also because we ordered way too many vinyl, please listen to it on vinyl. That's definitely the right way to listen to it.
Vinyl and then the car.
Absolutely, it's a mistake. Ignore what I just said. It is best listened to on the vinyl, which can be pre-ordered at Count Lucky Stars Records. And if you could just assure Keith that we are worth the money he spent on
so this question should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less. All 3 have to do it.
Oof. Is oof a word? Can I get away with that?
No.
Bright. Not in a smart way.
Bright, dumb, and himbo-ass music. Bitchin'.
Okay, all right. It's a good start.
This is really rough.
It's supposed to be off the top of your head. You guys are thinking about it too
hard.
Yeah. So we got 1 out of the 9 words you guys have to give us.
No, we have 2. We have 2.
Oh,
Bright,
yeah, bright too.
Yeah, bright and yeah.
I think come on, we could do this. We could fucking do this. I don't think I can say it better than like car rock music.
All right.
There you go.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It is definitely music.
It is just music. It's rock music. But I think songs that go somewhere about going nowhere. Which is not 3 words, but that's
good. No, that makes sense.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll hyphenate it.
So I've been pitching this. I didn't write any of these songs, so I feel very free describing the record. I think this record is emo by adults.
Oh,
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know we're not totally in the emo vein, but I think one of the things that makes the record special for me is that we're making music that at this point in time is largely being done by people half our age. We're not that old.
No.
Just younger than
by
us.
a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Those 12-year-olds.
But I think it's special because I think it takes a genre that is typically characterized by immediate thoughts, by sharp emotions, and by youth. And we're essentially, everyone who writes the songs are in their 30s. God, y'all are old.
I don't know how to say it in 3 words, but I feel like it's hard. I feel like I've always struggled knowing like what I sound like what these songs sound like. Like it's always hard to pin it down. Like I don't think I'm like directly derivative of anything specific, but I think there's a lot of influences that are baked in. That I've heard several different people say that these songs sound like completely different things from one another. So I don't know. I would say a fun, unique, bright.
There we go.
Unique, bright.
Oh.
You guys did it.
High school superlative.
That's all I got.
Round of applause.
Every words is hard. I forgot my answer. There was an interview where Drug Church were being interviewed about like their music, because it's kind of poppy hardcore. It's not quite like heavy hardcore, but it's definitely not. It's like too heavy to be just like rock music or whatever. Yeah. So they referred to it as big chord rock. Yeah, like just like loud guitars playing very loud chords. And I love that. I think we're just playing loud pop music.
Yeah.
I think they're pop songs that we are essentially just playing as loudly and kind of off the rails as we can. Because they're supposed to be catchy. I think that we love a song that has a hook that is catchy and is fun. And that's what we aim to write, a song that is fun and that is catchy. I think that's like the hardest thing to do well. And if we do that ever, we're really succeeding at what we're setting out to do. But I think that, like, especially if you see us live, like we are playing these songs like they're emo songs, like they're 90s indie rock songs, just much louder. And we play loud pop music, I think.
Yeah. I'm changing my answer. Summer car rock.
Oh, good.
Okay.
All right.
I took two of Keegan's words, but
that's
I think summer is important. It's a summery record.
Feels pretty summery.
Sure.
Yeah. Perfect. So in the same vein as last question, but not too much pressure, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want this album to invoke in your listeners?
No.
No?
No.
All right, next question.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
So what is your favorite memory that you guys made while creating this album?
One of my favorites is when we broke Alex's spirit.
Oh.
Oh my God. So Alex really played up for this record. Like, the drumming's great on the record, but everybody wrote parts that were like a little bit, because we were writing remotely and we had a lot of time to like structure things, and everybody wrote stuff for themselves, vocally, instrumentally, that was just a little bit of a stretch beyond what we're comfortable doing. So I've really like wrote a bunch of parts that are really hard to play live for me, which is awesome. But Alex, we had written a lot of drum parts that were like fast, and he was writing really cool fills. And our producer Kyle was like pretty demanding about, like, he wanted the hits to be really hard. He wanted the drums to like sound really full, and he just kept making him do it over and over again and over again.
For long drum days.
And I was working remotely out back, and I could just hear the song starting and being started over like 10-15 seconds in, over and over and over. And then I heard like screaming, what I thought was screaming. And I came back out inside, and Alex was shirtless, like not talking to anyone, just drumming over and over. And then they would stop, and he would go again, and they would do it over and over again. And I was like, "What happened?" And Levi's like, "We broke Alex."
Oh my God!
Holy shit!
So one of my favorite ways you can hear this, there's a song that's not released and that probably won't be released for a long time.
Forever, yeah.
That is just one of the most rock and roll songs we've ever written. We did it kind of at the end, and you can hear Alex just fucking ripping. It's the fastest drums that have ever been in a song that we did. Yeah. The fills are insane. And once it gets released, you'll be able to hear, like, this is what unhinged rock and roll Alex is like.
Yeah, we called him Rock and Roll Alex for that whole week.
Yeah, I think he even scared our producer. He didn't know what to do.
It's a lot of intensity.
That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's a lot of cool moments. Like, the only lyrics I wrote for Feel Something, Brian and I did together kind of on the porch, like that last morning of writing, really, like that last week of writing. And really felt like lyrically the song tied a lot together. And that was really satisfying. And then Lake Erie Boys, the three of us were on the porch really fighting about a couple lyric changes. And it was like we had 15 minutes before we really had to start recording vocals because we had a lot to get through. And we really, I think, landed on something that I was very happy with. And it just seemed like all of us got on the same page and had a shared vibe and a vision, and like just really crystallized in the last few minutes.
Yeah. And what was also really cool is like when we were recording this record, we were releasing Downtiming at the same time. So Downtiming came out and we were in the studio together.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So like we got to like really enjoy like seeing the reactions from people who really were enjoying that record. I think that was really like feeding and fueling the record too as we were recording.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think my favorite memory from that recording process was going outside in, like, we were supposed to be recording, but we went outside because Bruce Warren was playing our song on the radio somewhere. And so we like tuned in and heard him say like talk about the song for a minute and be like, and then he introed it as like,
This is Camp Trash, and it's Bobby. And that's and it's Bobby is the greatest thing anyone's ever said.
Camp Trash, it's Bobby.
And it's Bobby. But yeah, we have never really we never released music on a label. We've never released music. I've never had any music that was on Spotify or anything at all. So being able to release something and see people react and respond to it, and it be like written up places, and it's all minor things. They're all small things, but it's cool. We were all just really grateful to that anything was happening at all. We play pretty down the middle. We like pop music. We like indie rock. We're not incredibly fancy, incredibly technical, we play pretty straight ahead music that I think is easy to get glossed over or ignored if you don't really like the vibe or whatever. And we felt like people heard it and liked it and responded to it and really liked the energy of it and liked like what we were doing. And to have that experience while we were all together was really, really fun.
That's super sick.
That's good. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour. You're at a gas station for a rest stop. You're going in. What is your snack of choice?
Take 5, blue Gatorade, sugar-free Red Bull.
Ooh, okay.
Cherry Twizzlers.
Oh,
probably a giant water.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of water. It's weird that it's really hard to get water while you're on the road.
Yeah.
So this place is filled with water bottles, like empty ass plastic water bottles.
Let's be staying hydrated.
Yeah, we're trying to. It's
Good.
really difficult.
It's rough out here.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely those pull and peel Twizzlers.
Oh,
Those ones.
That was mine. Yeah.
Incredible little snacks.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Soup.
McDouble.
God.
Soup and a McDouble?
McDouble soup.
No.
The band would be burger soup.
Yeah.
Oh,
Meaty, a little stinky,
a little cheesy.
but really sticks to the ribs.
Yeah. Thick and only wanted when you're sick.
Yeah, we're like tomato soup. Like we're really.
Wanted when you're sick.
I don't know what's generic and widely available. We're pizza.
Bread.
We're bread.
Ready pizza.
Oh, that's the worst. God damn it.
Well,
I think we're sticking with burger soup.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we open our burger soup chain called Cup of Burger.
No.
The burger sip.
I hate it so much.
Oh, you sell it into Go Cups?
Oh.
No, it comes in thermoses.
Oh, it's even worse.
No. It's soup that comes wrapped in plastic, wrapped in a burger wrapper. It spills out immediately.
We sell it in soup bags.
Oh no. Oh my god. It's awful. That's awful. So for the last couple questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you guys.
Please.
Great. So we're actually gonna go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Burger soup. That's a meal and a drink all in one, baby.
God.
Is a milkshake a drink?
Yeah.
Ice cream. Oh my god, we've had so much ice cream on this tour. I am an absolute hoe for good ice cream.
Yeah.
What's your go-to flavor?
That.
Yeah, you can say it.
I don't think you can hoe for ice cream.
You can know for anything, man.
We had someone tell us they were a slut for hamburgers once, so like
Exactly.
you can
Do I have a soup restaurant for that?
fuck.
This is like just a standard answer, but my mom, who is a very solid, decent cook, who just didn't. I don't think
I'll kill you.
No, she's
I'll kill you.
she makes a lot of things from that are good, but
Okay.
the one thing she made for us actually she did make us ice cream cake for our birthday every year, which I'm not sure how she did that.
That rocks. Fuck. I changed my answer to that ice cream cake.
That's a good answer.
It's still ice cream.
But
What
my mom
flavor
makes
ice
this,
cream cake? Oh, sorry.
casserole that no one can agree on if it's a family recipe or not, but it's just called poppy seed chicken. And it's essentially just like sour cream, cream cheese, and cream of mushroom soup and chicken and Ritz crackers. And it is like the most white person food imaginable. It's just like, it's essentially chicken soup.
Yeah, it's
a lot of cream.
Back to the soup, yeah.
A lot of cream,
it's the best food alive. I'll make it for me for my birthday every year that I'm home these days, and it would be that.
I think also the reason I think ice cream would be great for me because I'm a little lactose intolerant, and then I wouldn't have to experience the consequences.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Wait, how are you eating so much ice cream on the road, but you're lactose intolerant? How does that work?
There's not a bathroom in that thing.
It sucks a lot.
Yeah.
We stop at gas stations a lot.
Yeah,
clearly.
Yeah.
All for you.
Hey, yeah, sorry. Have you tried to use a bathroom at a Starbucks in Toms River, New Jersey in the past 3 days?
It's been demolished.
It has been occupied.
Yeah,
when were you guys in Toms River? Because that's about 20 minutes away from me, and I'll make sure to avoid it.
My God. So, our tour got canceled midway through because sadly our friend Dylan from Spanish Love Songs got COVID. And we are kind of just rescheduling dates on the fly, just kind of making it up as we go along. And my partner, Raquel, her parents are from the Jersey area, and they have a little place in Toms River that's close to family. They're in Florida, but they have a place here. So when they come, they have somewhere to stay. And she had the presence of mind to give us the key to it before I left for tour. Because she was like, if you're in Jersey, you have a free place to stay. Who knows? And we ended up stuck in Jersey for like 4 days.
Yeah.
And so we feel like residents of Toms River.
Yeah,
Levi.
if you need a Starbucks rec, we in Toms River, we have several. We've been to about 4 of them.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I think Levi's very close to marrying a local waitress, the diner.
Yeah.
That's
Aww,
cute.
look at that.
That's cute. Good for you. Brian, your meal.
Oh, my meal. Probably my mom's lasagna. My mom's, I think, better than the Bradford mom as far as cooking goes.
Are you fucking
But still
kidding me?
not an excellent cook.
You both are on my shit list.
We're all like from like Irish families. Like there's no fucking food culture.
Well, I mean, my grandma was Italian, and she made a killer lasagna that at least that got passed on to my mom. So the lasagna and a vanilla milkshake is kind of a weird combo, but I'm going out.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
Fictional world for a week.
Toontown.
Westeros.
Final Fantasy 9.
Oh, good
Oh
one.
wow, that was quick.
Toontown? Did you ever even play Toontown?
No. I couldn't get it to load on the computer, but you said it was fun.
Oh, just imagining Toontown.
Actually, you know what fictional world I'm living in? You know the King's Quest games where you just have to point and click and kind of find stuff out, and everybody turns into a goblin or something?
Great.
Yeah.
No, now I'm just picturing you in Toontown, like smoking a cigarette on your phone outside of one of the fucking factories.
Someone hits you with a giant mallet.
It's a cake. They hit you with a cake.
Wow. Perfect. Okay. So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has actually said it is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue.
Yeah, blue.
Okay, I have a lot of opinions about this question.
Oh, Levi.
All right, we're
Levi.
Okay.
Strap in, guys.
So thank you so much. Levi's about to say something problematic about colors. I know.
We're gonna have to cut this part out.
Yeah. Camp Crash canceled for their hot takes on yellow.
I've decided that I don't have a favorite color. Y'all can have your opinions. That's fine.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite color because I think colors are all relative. They only exist as relative to each other.
That's
They
such an
only
old
matter
person answer.
in context. Fuck.
No, Levi's a big Joe Rogan guy.
Hear me
I'm
out.
Joe Rogan.
Hear me out. You know how like music. People ask like, "What's your favorite note?" If you're like a fucking opera star and you're like, "I like this C note," like, great, I can believe that. But for everyone else, music it only matters in relationship to everything else.
Now, this is also Levi's life philosophy.
God damn it! Sorry. Every color only matters next to a different color. It's all about relationships. So I don't think having a single color can matter because blue can fucking suck next to like a light brown. But like blue's great.
Blue
Blue's a great
doesn't
color.
suck next to a light brown.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Flowers
works.
and all that things.
Yeah,
Does it? No, I'm
I-
like a putrid brown.
I like the answer of it like only exists in relationship. That's like a great sentence standalone.
Yeah.
Should only exist in relationship.
Cut everything else out and just leave that part
Just,
No.
just without context.
without.
Yeah,
That's the whole interview.
perfect.
All right. Well, on that note, that is all the questions we have for you guys today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
Our album, The Long Way to the Slow Way, comes out July 1st on Count Lucky Stars Records. You can pre-order it, and you can also get some merch. Our drummer Alex does a lot of our merch designs, and they're great. And we also will be announcing soon plans for an album release show in Florida. We are currently working on, making sure that we have shows for the rest of this week until we play So What Fest in Dallas, but we are also playing So What Fest in Dallas on the 29th, which is a Sunday.
All right.
So excited for you guys.
Well, thank you.
I want to plug. I speedrun a game called Hades, and I recently achieved a 723 on. So for my weapon, that makes me the second fastest in the world.
Nice.
Oh,
We're talking to a celebrity right now.
yeah.
There's no way you can go look at that or support it in any way. I just want everyone to know about
That's
it.
very cool.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right.
We can cut that part out.
All right. Well, thank you for selling this, guys.
I'd also like to plug the song Hanging Over by the band Poblano. That's Levi's old band.
It's a good song.
It's a really good song. And I don't think there's any way for us to make any money off that at all. But it's a good song. You should listen to the song Hanging Over by Poblano in honor of our dear friend Riley Hawkins' birthday today, who recorded that song with Levi.
I'd also like to plug a diner called Jay's.
Let's just plug Levi because Levi is great.
Yeah. There's a diner in Tom's River called JB's 57 Diner. I want to shout out Nina, the waitress there. She's
That you're
great.
getting married to?
Yeah.
Oh, I also want to plug El Unico in Union City, New Jersey, where you can get an incredible plate of Cuban food for like $6. My wife's mother took her there for 100 years because it was a place that she could speak Spanish to everyone, and the food was so cheap, and they have never raised the prices for some reason. We go on every single tour we go on. We find a way to get there.
I want to plug the Starbucks next to Planet Fitness in Tom's River, New Jersey.
That's the best one.
It's the best one.
Good couch.
Unfortunately, guys, we do have places to be. So thank you.
Plug a different podcast.
You better delete the interview, Shane. It's over.
Well, thank you for smiling, guys. This has been Camp Trash, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.